It's not you, it's me. No, it's all you. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Felicia and oh my god, have a look at you all. How is this channel growing this quickly? Thank you so much for coming on board. It's lovely to see you and lovely to have you here, so hello. For today's video, I was gonna do something completely different, but to be honest, I ran out of time because life. So instead of that, I'm going to talk to you about why I'm leaving the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite. And my reasonings behind it are a little bit more personal than what other people have been experiencing lately, which, if you haven't seen in the news, there's been a lot of lying, their convoluted subscription services, the prices going up, people being told to delete their old programs because of a fault of Adobe with some copyright issues that they have with Dolby Digital, apparently, allegedly. I don't know. Anyway, mine has nothing to do with that. I'm actually leaving them because their customer service is atrocious. But honestly, I've had a lot of bad run-ins with them, I guess. Trying to get in touch with them is a completely different story, but when you do talk to them, you're treated like you don't know anything. Enough of me rambling. I'm going to talk about the programs that I am actually deciding to change to. Now, I have completely left the Adobe system by now. I have cancelled my account. I no longer have any of the software, and maybe that might be an issue further down the track if I end up doing things for companies that require certain software. But in those cases, I would see if I would be able to get some sort of trial version or something like that, or whether the company pays for it themselves. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. So here are the programs that I am using in relation to the programs that I had in the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite. I had the full suite. I'm not going to cover all of the programs like Dreamweaver and all of the ones that I don't really use. I'm mainly going to cover the ones that I did use. So I used Premiere, I used After Effects, I used Illustrator and Photoshop. I also used Lightroom because I do photography as well. So that was a little bit more of a difficult one, which I still haven't found a good solution to. So if you have an idea about what you use for a solution to a Lightroom alternative, especially if it's really good with Fujifilm RAW files, let me know in the comments down below because I would really love to hear it. Anyway, Resolve. Resolve is what I'm switching to, and you would have seen since my video with PJ May on the channel, which I'll link up above, I have started using Resolve. Mainly because it's free. I do want to say that I did try out other programs as well. In the end, I do feel like DaVinci gave me the most bang for my buck, which was $0. But I like that it is streamlined, like it is Premiere and After Effects in one. And to have all of that at your fingertips is such a powerful tool. Fusion is super powerful and you can do so much with it once you get your head wrapped around the nodes aspect of things and working out how they work. You can pretty much do whatever you like. It's very intuitive in that way as well. So if you learn something simple, like how to animate a certain part of the text, you can often work out how to do something more complex. I will admit that sometimes things were a little bit difficult to work out how to do, but with a quick Google search or a quick YouTube search, you can find a lot of information out there because it is a widely used program and it is still of a professional grade. But I feel like I've jumped into editing a bit more refreshed. I feel like I'm actually enjoying the process more than I did when I was editing with Premiere, which is different. It's really nice. I feel happy learning all of these new skills. I'm trying things that I've never really done before as well, which is exciting. So it's really nice to learn a new program. Most importantly with this sort of program, if you know your basics around any other editing program, you should know pretty much how to get started in DaVinci. Things might be in a slightly different spot or a slightly different layout, and the shortcuts might be a little bit different, but all in all, you should be pretty good at getting a handle on it quicker. Now, on to the other programs, which I did have a little bit of trouble finding alternatives for, but in the end, I ended up settling on Affinity Photo and Affinity Design. I had a look at GIMP, I had a look at a lot of open source programming as well, and none of them really hit home for me. I really wanted something that was a little bit more like a Photoshop alternative, like it was pretty much a rip. And I honestly found that in Affinity Photo, I was able to really quickly pick it up because the layout is pretty much the same. There are a few things that are missing or in slightly different spots, and things can get a little bit difficult at times, but it's all a learning process. Like with all of these programs, it's going to take me a while to get used to them. I tended to use Photoshop and Illustrator as asset builders. I use Photoshop for my thumbnails and some of my assets, and then I use Illustrator for any other assets that I need to put into After Effects for motion graphics. So finding something that was very, very similar to both of those programs and that can do pretty much all of what those programs could was integral to wanting to switch. First up, it is $80 Australian per program. You are paying, I think it was $79 or $78.99, something like that. I'll probably put it on the screen now, but you're paying that per program, and that's it. That's all. You do get the next sequence of updates, and I assume it's until they go to the next version, and then when they go to the next version, you have to buy a new version. I don't really know how that works, but we'll see. I've already had one update, which it's actually coming along really nicely. In the trial version that I did months before I wanted to finish with my Adobe suite, I still enjoyed it, but it was a little bit clunky, but they've really improved it. So it's definitely something to have a look at if you're looking to switch. I would highly recommend having a look and doing, I think it's a 14-day trial of photo and of design if you're wanting to use both. They also have iPad versions as well, so you can take this on the go. If you're a designer and you like to take your iPad with you, you can just design on the go. Like that's really cool. They also sell brush packs and texture packs and lots of things like that to make it a bit more personal. So those are my thoughts on the alternatives that I found for the Adobe Creative Suite. All in all, I am disappointed in Adobe for everything that's happened over the past weeks, months. It's been a long time. There's been a lot of little things over the years that have been happening, and I'm disappointed in their approach to their customers. They are really just milking their customers dry. It's just really not a nice thing to do, and all of that power that they've got from being the industry standard, so everybody has to use them or has to use them, it's really gone to their head, and they don't really appreciate their customers and their customer base. I know this video isn't meant to be just shitting all over Adobe. It's not what this is meant for. This video is to show you the alternatives that I'm using and why I'm excited to use them, and maybe they might be good alternatives for you. It's for the people who aren't necessarily with Adobe, or maybe you are, I don't know, but you don't have to be with Adobe, but maybe you're wanting something different, or you're wanting something that does almost the same thing as the Adobe Creative Suite. You want some sort of alternative that's either cheaper, more suited to your needs, more suited to your situation, maybe it's free. And that's what I do want to point out here is I did try other programs like Filmora and GIMP and all of these different online programs, and for Lightroom I tried like Raw Therapy and Capture One and things like that. Now, trying these things out is a really good method of working out whether they work for you. So I definitely recommend doing the hard yards, putting in the research and finding different programs that you think will work for you and then trialing them and seeing which ones do. Don't just go in because somebody says, no, this program's great, you've got to use this program. Don't do that. You end up trapping yourself in there. So before we finish up here, I am going to finish on a little bit of a Q&A, kind of. I asked you guys on my community tab, which is brand new. Thank you so much everybody for pushing me over 1,000 subscribers. So I now have a different way of communicating with you. I did ask if you would be interested in a Q&A. Now some of you said no because Q&As are a bit lame, and I do kind of agree they are a bit lame, but I thought it might be nice for us to get to know each other, and you all have told me so much about your progression and where you are and what you're doing. I thought it might be nice to give you a little bit of information about myself. So I asked if you had any questions, and some of you did. Now I have 3 questions so far, but I am going to answer maybe 1 per video, and then depending on how many questions we get later, I'll answer more. So if you have any questions, you can contact me via Instagram. There is a pinned story on my Instagram feed, and you can just respond to that. Also, you can respond on my community page. You can type anything in any post. You can leave a comment down below. Just make sure you put a Q in front of your question so that I know it's a part of the Q&A. So the first question is from Lindsay Hazel, and she is asking, what are your favorite video editing software and apps, and why do you love them? Well, now you know. In terms of apps, though, I don't really edit on my phone or my iPad, so I can't really tell you anything about that. I'm not really versed in that side of things, but I can tell you a channel that does cater to apps if you're interested. There is a channel by a guy called D. Nimmin. I'll leave a link down below. He does a lot of things on mobile, on Android, on iOS, in terms of editing, and pretty much just video creation in general on an Android or an iOS device. Very interesting stuff, but it's just not something that I do. So that is the question for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please remember to give it a big fat thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of my face and learn a little bit more about filmmaking in the process, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you later.